Welcome to Rauta, and time for a dual review, this time with the Finnish underground legends coming from black metal territory and beyond, Ride for Revenge. Now, come June 2024, Ride for Revenge is out with two different split releases, or collaboration if you prefer that one. We have a couple of different things, neither are exactly lengthy, more almost on the EP side of things, but really, I would consider these both albums. First, let's go with the Legion of Andromeda and Ride for Revenge split. Sorry for that. This is where it is mentioned the whole name Electric Male Discharge. Makes me think of robots and androids getting a little bit on the orgasm side of things. One track by Andromeda and on Legion of Andromeda, and then 3 tracks by Ride for Revenge. And this is not purely black metal. One could say Andromeda guys, or guy, I don't know how the lineup actually is, but guys, I think, here it is mentioned, are doing more like an electrified version of what could be considered a somewhat of a black metal thing, but also very, very much like a industrial vibe-ish thing of music and all. So it's not that simple. Then we have another one which is also split. Here it is Transhunter from North Macedonia. A few tracks today by them and a couple of by Ride for Revenge. And here it is, Vertical Passion Escalator. Quite peculiar titles if you ask me, but then again the music is also quite peculiar. And as you can see, there is a certain similarity with both of the booklets, but the whole packaging, the digipacks. So a little bit like a sibling releases in that sense. Now let's tune for Metal Archives for Ride for Revenge backdrop, because this is mostly about Ride for Revenge. As you know, this is a band that has been going on in the Finnish black metal underground for more than 20 years, listed here as an experimental black metal, which I think is quite vague, but it's also quite descriptive, because Ride for Revenge is far away from anything you consider typical Finnish black metal. If you're thinking about names like Horna, Behex, and Satanic Warmaster, whatever, Sargeist, well, this has very, very little to do with them, because it's very primitive in many occasions, and often quite experimental indeed, even going beyond the boundaries of what you call typical metal. And that is because of Harald Mender, the main man in the band, the Primus Motor, and also the man behind Bestial Burst label, is an interesting character, smart and very experimental, very artistic, and kind of a not giving a fuck about your genres or sub-genres. So if you go with experimental black metal, he's like, piss off, this is beyond that. Now, the band has obviously quite a few albums out, also a lot of splits, EPs, so quite extensive discography all in all. There are parts where it gets more into more power industrial or noisy side, things like that. And some of the albums are more on the classic black metal side of things. Classic being more in the old school ways with really primitive, organic output, but still, riff-wise going all that stuff. Now, as you can see, these two splits are the only 2024 one releases so far by the first half of the year, and we'll start with Electric Male Discharge. Like I said, one track by Legion of Andromeda, which is kind of a more industrial vibe-ish track, but there is metal in the game, and then a couple of Ride for Revenge, which are kind of a mirroring the thing, but also doing their own stuff. And this seems to miss one of the tracks here, because the CD version indeed has 4 tracks, not 2, not 3, and when you click out these, you will see here I've added this one, but I don't remember the length, so it says 17 minutes, but 18, but it's actually a lot longer than that. Now, in my opinion, Ride for Revenge is pretty much equal here in terms of music with the Legion of Andromeda. They're just a little bit different. And like I said, I was thinking about Android Orgasm when I was listening to this one. So it's kind of like Blade Runner, like Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Well, if you're sheep shagger and you're thinking about Electric Male Discharge, now you get where my weird mind is going to. Now, if you're a fan of the more experimental side, the less basic black metal side of Ride for Revenge, this is definitely for you. I would say this is very much like for true fans only kind of release, kind of a hardcore, kind of a hard to approach kind of a listen, not the most easiest ones, not that Ride for Revenge is that to begin with, but still an interesting release in my opinion and better of these two splits, and I'll explain why when we get to this Vertical Passion Escalator thing. Now this is led by Transhunter here with 4 tracks, a couple of Ride for Revenge. In terms of the overall length, it's not that different, but still. Transhunter is more experimental in a way. It's kind of a primitive, but it's also quite repetitive. And then there's one instrumental song, I Am Possessed, which makes me think these guys are quite possessed. So they're kind of like very close to what Ride for Revenge do, but not as good. And in that sense, these are very compatible together, you know, doing the kind of a primitive, but a little bit experimental, kind of a slow tempo black metal with a flirt with doom. Now, some people aren't going to say it's not done like doom at all, but because of the slow tempo, the kind of a heaviness, you might feel certain similarities with kind of a sludge and all. But calling it sludge black metal might be also a little bit misleading, so I don't want to go into the world of subgenres, which I know Mr. Bestial Burst actually dislikes. So let's just call it experimental black metal or black metal and with then some influences, whatever. Like I said, because Ride for Revenge is not leading this so much as the Andromeda split, and in my opinion, also the overall feeling with this Discharge is just more interesting. I would say this particular split is better than this one, but both are good if you're a Ride for Revenge fan. I wouldn't suggest these as a starting point for Ride of Revenge fandom thing, because they are not, like I said, the most easy to approach, but they are fascinating in their own ways, but just very, very acquired taste in so many ways. Now, if you have an acquired taste and you're bold enough to go beyond the borders of typical Scandinavian or Nordic black metal, go for it. Just don't expect them to sound like your typical Finnish black metal, and you're pretty good to go. Like I said, an acquired taste kind of a thing, not for everybody. With those words, you're good to go. Check out them through YouTube samples and whatnot, and then go for the physical product if you really like it. That's all I got to say, and I hope you enjoy them. Bye-bye.